Gregor Mendel is known as the father of genetics, which is the scientific study of heredity. He was born in Austria in 1822. Little was known about heredity until the mid-19th century when he began working with pea plants in his small monastery, since he was a monk. Mendel began his experiments with pea plants in 1853. Mendel concluded that the traits are caused by paired heredity factors that today are called genes. Mendel was able to establish some laws, which are the following: law of dominance, law of segregation, and law of independent assortment.
So Gregor Mendel established 3 laws. The first law was law of dominance, which states that dominant traits will show up in the offspring even if an allele for a different trait is also present. For example, in this example that we have the Punnett square, we have here for example, a pure round seed, which is this one, and a pure wrinkled seed. But round seeds are dominant over wrinkled seeds. So here we can do the Punnett square, and shows us that the results of this crossing would be 100% hybrid, which means that they are homozygous. Heterozygous. Our next law is law of segregation. This law states that alleles for each trait segregate randomly during the formation of gametes. And here we have our Punnett square again, which would be crossing over 2 hybrid parents, or hybrid, and the result would be 25% of pure yellow, 25% of green, and 50% of hybrid yellow. And our third law, which is the law of independent assortment, states that the segregation of one gene does not influence the segregation of the other. Now we have a dihybrid cross, which would be this, and the results would be this. It might seem a little confusing, but now let's take a ratio of what would be the characteristics of each of the offsprings. Starts with this. We would have this, which would be different. Do we have any other? No. This and this. We have this, 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 another, this, and this. This one and this. Use this one. So then our ratio would be 9 yellow round, 3 yellow wrinkled, 3 green round, and 1 green wrinkled, which we didn't have green wrinkled at the beginning since we had dihybrid yellow round parents. So then at the end we can see that all of this separation of the genes didn't influence for this one to come like as a new species, as to say. So, hope that you have this clear. Thanks.
Interesting fact about Gregor Mendel. Gregor Mendel is known as the father of genetics because of his breakthrough in the laws of inheritance. He is the person who came up with the laws of inheritance and how heredity affects various generations. Even today, these basic principles are used in the most complicated genetic research. He was born in a small town of Austria in 1822. His father was a peasant farmer. Gregor Mendel studied botany, zoology, history, mathematics, and physics in the University of Vienna. However, he failed physics and could not proceed further. He left his studies and joined a monastery to become a monk. Gregor Mendel chose the pea plants because they had an extremely short life cycle. It was possible to study the changes in several generations of these plants, and the findings were also on a fast pace. This shows that Gregor Mendel was an intelligent and shrewd person. Mendel grew more than 30,000 pea plants in a span of 15 years. He had names for his pea plants, and he assigned a single alphabetic character to each of the generation of pea plants. He observed several traits at multiple levels in the pea plants. Mendel also conducted his experiments on animals. He observed the mating behavior of several animals that lived in the monastery and the resulting characteristic traits that were passed on to the offspring. However, this experiment of he was not as successful as the pea plant experiment. Gregor Mendel soon quit his experimentation in animals.